What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go. What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now. And I hope y'all are having a good day. I hope you are out there making things happen and living your best life. Because when you live your best life, you don't subject the folks that interact with you to the notion of having to deal with a lesser form of who you are. So don't subject other people to only a fraction of who you are. Be the best version of yourself and allow the world or allow people that you interact with to experience the best version of you. So I hope you're having a good day. I hope you've had a chance to grab a copy of Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto, 10 Commitments Necessary for Excellence in Black Fatherhood. Pretty doggone good book, man, if I may say so myself. But y'all can grab a copy on Amazon or from IamMikeDorsey.com or BlackFathersNow.com. Grab a copy, leave some reviews, share the content out there, man. Put it out there. Let me know what you think about it. But today's quick episode is a concept that literally just kind of popped up in my mind. But when concepts come and ideas come, you know, they don't come randomly. They come for a reason, whether that reason is for me to think about and ponder myself, or whether it's for, maybe it's just one person listening. This is something they need to hear. But when something pops, I need to put it out there. And that's what I'm doing today. And that concept is being a slave to nothing. Being a slave to nothing. Now, the word slave evokes all kinds of emotions, especially as, you know, brothers, as people of African descent. You know, the concept of slavery really it evokes this visceral reaction to most of us. But when you think about the concept of slavery, you know, at the end of the day, being a slave is, you know, being controlled by something or someone or some other entity. So what does it mean to be a slave to nothing? You know, when we think about slavery or being a slave to something or to someone or to some entity, you think about the notion of something having total control over you. And if we are honest, like 100% honest, like completely transparent and authentic with ourselves, we, in some aspect of our lives, are probably slaves to something. We are slaves to something. And the concept here is being a slave to nothing. And so when you are a slave to something, that means something has complete control over your life. 100% control over your life. And you know, like when you think about like the biblical verse of, you know, money is the root to all evil. It's not money being the root to all evil. It's the love of money. Because when you love money, then you ultimately become a slave to money. Like money should be your slave. You should not be a slave to money, right? But when we think about our lives and our daily lives, you know, are we slaves to money, right? Are we slaves to earning more and more and more? Like, what's your number? More, right? Are we slaves to our job? Are we slaves to our businesses? Are we slaves to, you know, food? Like, you know, if someone tells you, hey, you know what, starting tomorrow, you can never eat chicken again, would you lose your mind because you're a slave to what it is your taste buds say you should want to eat? Are you a slave to alcohol? Meaning, you know what, maybe I'm not a person who gets drunk all the time, but man, I need my 1 or 2 beers every evening. I'm a slave to that routine. Maybe I'm a slave to a routine. Maybe it's not a thing, right? But being a slave to nothing, should that be the goal? Because the reality is we are all slaves to something. There is something in each one of our lives that has control over us, good or bad, or maybe indifferent. There's something that has control over us. But what happens when we get to a point in which there is no outside entity that truly impacts or has control over our lives? How free is that? Because freedom is the ultimate goal, right? Being completely free to be what you are called to be completely free to manifest into what God has, dropped into you, to allow that to manifest and allow that greatness to shine. But that's freedom. And if we're not free, then in essence, we are slaves to something. And by us not being completely free and being slaves, do we then have the capacity to be the great individual person that we can all be? Do you have that ability if you are still a slave to something? So the whole concept of being a slave to nothing, to me, translates into freedom. And when you're completely free, then you have the ability to go and be great. You have the ability to be all that you can be. I'm not taking a tagline from, I think it's the Army, be all that you can be. But at the end of the day, that, in my opinion, is what freedom allows. It allows you to be all that you can be. But to be completely free, we have to get to a point in which we are a slave to nothing. And to get to a point in which we are a slave to nothing, we have to get to the point in which we are not necessarily dependent on outside entities. We have to really figure out a way to create, true freedom, in a sense that if something were removed, we would be okay. But I don't know. Maybe somebody out there struggling with this, the whole concept of being a slave to something, because the concept that dropped into my spirit this morning was being a slave to nothing, which equates to freedom. And are you free? Hey, look, Black Fathers Now, this is all about bringing the village to the brothers in the form of wisdom, insight, information, and sometimes just thought-provoking concepts that, is just designed for you to think a little bit differently. And this is one of those episodes. So I hope it spoke to someone, but the whole concept of being a slave to nothing. Think about that. And I'd love to get your thoughts. So definitely on social media, hit me up. Let me know what you thought about this concept. And just let me know how this makes you think. And how does this make you think about your own personal life and what needs to change for you to get to a point in which you are completely free. Free to be great. Free to be you. All right. Well, as always, y'all follow Black Fathers Now on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe, leave comments, share. And this is brought to you by BlackFamilyApparel.com. Grab some dope apparel that celebrates the nuances of the Black family. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace. Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit BlackFathersNow.com, as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.